So I'm really excited to be here. I came all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee this morning where it was very cold, so it's very nice to be here. Real quick, I always like to know my audience. Show of hands. How many people have grandkids? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up. How many people have grandkids? All right, how many people have kids? Keep your hands up. How many of you were a kid? All right, so you guys are really going to like the next couple of talks because they're about children's hospitals. So I'm here to tell you about a really fun project, what I consider a transformational project. And it really started in Chattanooga just 3.5 years ago. And we set out to build this new outpatient building. All right, it was a concept, it was a vision, and we owe a lot of credit to some people. Bruce Kaminsky being the main driver. He's the vice president of new construction. How many people here know Bruce? Bruce is an amazing guy. He's actually the reason I ended up going to the children's hospital at Erlanger, because I knew if they hired Bruce, it must be real. It wasn't some pipe dream, they're actually going to do it. So we came up with really a very simple map on how you build a great center. It starts with getting the right team. All right, not just in-house, but also outside of the house. How do you pick the right partners? We developed guiding principles and a vision. What is it we really wanted to create and how we're going to get there? And then what were kind of our rules of the road? Next is benchmarking. Bruce always says this is the cheapest thing you can do in your construction project, and it's the most fun. We flew all around the country to look at the best places and steal all their great ideas. And the best thing about working with children's hospitals, they're always willing to share. The most fun part for me was engaging our community. Communities want to get involved in projects like this. Prior to this project, there was very little, if not no, philanthropy at Erlanger. All right, so we went from a situation, no philanthropy, no children's hospital, 40-year-old building, and we created this vision. Everybody thought we were crazy. And we've enjoyed our successes all the way around. So just to give you a little picture, 5 years ago, Erlanger, as a health system, was losing a lot of money. They recruited Kevin Spiegel to come to turn the place around. He has doubled net profits, all right? He's done an amazing job. He's hired great people, but he's done it by doing the right things, by getting the right kind of doctors. When you look at our process, we had to make some tough decisions. How do you choose the right architecture firm? How do you choose the right construction firm? So what we did is we came up with a process where we screened 25 teams. So we put an RFP out there. We got 25 people that wanted to come work with us. And we said, look, rather than just coming as an architect or a building firm, come together. Pick your partner and show up. We were able to whittle it down to just two companies, or two groups of companies. And then we decided to spend time with them. We were really looking for cultural fit. So we actually invited them separately to come to Chattanooga and spend time with us, meet our teams, look at what we were trying to accomplish, see the conditions we were currently in. But also, we went to see them. So we went and packed up and went to Atlanta and looked at what they had and spent time with them, and I can tell you it was very clear after those 2 days which one we wanted to win. But then we went and got our community involved. So we needed to raise $40 million to build a building that was nothing but a dream. So we decided we had to raise some excitement in the community. So we got the community involved, and we did it by having this huge thing at the IMAX where we let the two teams present their ideas and their vision. So we turned it into a community event, and we invited people to come. So we had all these great people from the community who at the time were all doubters. They didn't think we could pull it off. They thought our philanthropic goal was too big, but they got engaged. So for me, it's all about engagement. This is a picture of our team going to visit one of the teams in Atlanta. So we developed some guiding principles, and we did this with a lot of input from our doctors and nurses in our community, but we wanted to create something special. We didn't want to just do an actuarial analysis that says, this is how many people are in your catchment area, you got 50,000 square miles, this is how many beds you need, this is what it should look like. Instead, what we did was really take a step back and say, how do we build something unique for Chattanooga, Tennessee? How many people have been to Chattanooga, Tennessee? All right, I bet you're going to recognize some of the pictures I have coming up. We also wanted to make it universally appealing. If our doctors and nurses were going to work here all day long, what we didn't want to do is dumb it down and make it a little kids hospital so it only worked for little kids. Because we treat kids all the way up until the time they're 21, and if you're 18 years old and you have a football injury, you don't want to go to a place that just has cartoons everywhere. So we wanted to make sure it appealed to all ages. We wanted it to be a place full of discovery zones and not waiting rooms. So how do we make it interesting enough so that people could learn while they're there and not just wait? We wanted to reduce the amount of wait time. We brought in best practices, and we thought about health and wellness. So Chattanooga is a really cool place. It's a scenic city. It's #1 outdoor place in the country according to Outdoor Life magazine. So we wanted to bring these architectural features into it from nature, into our building. We went around the country to see how other people had done it. We literally got on a plane and flew to all these different places. We went to CHOP, we went to Lori. Bruce was actually one of the guys who helped build Lori Children's. We went out to Seattle, we went to Lebanon, we went to Vanderbilt. And we tried to get the best ideas. We'd always ask, what are the best things you've done?
And what are your biggest mistakes and biggest failures? And what's really cool about children's hospitals is we will tell each other. There's no such thing as competition when you're talking about poor kids. So we all shared, and as a result, we believe we have a new benchmark for children's hospitals. So our design is actually a culmination of lots of different thoughts. So we wanted to use on-stage, off-stage. All right? We wanted to have shared waiting rooms. We didn't want to have segregated anything. Because one of the things we learned is that today, in the way we were designed and built 40 years ago, you've got the Department of Orthopedics, 25 rooms. You got the Department of Neurology, 25 rooms. You got all these different departments. I know my surgeons for orthopedics, they're in surgery on Wednesday, and their 25 rooms are not fully being utilized, but my neurology department needs them. So what we did is we decided to share. Everything in this building is shared. All the rooms, all the exam rooms, exactly the same. All right? So we can float people back and forth from an operational perspective. We spent a lot of time saying, what is it we want to build? If we're going to build 72 exam rooms, we want to make sure that it's right. So we did mock-ups, and we did multiple mock-ups, and we brought our doctors through, we brought our patients through, we brought our parents through, and we said, what would you change about this? And we really learned a lot through that process. So as we got there, we started saying, how do we work technology into this? I can tell you that some people say kiosks are the best thing in the world, and other people say they're absolutely worst. And really, it's not about the kiosk. It's about how you use them, and how you train people to use them, and how you incorporate them into your operational flow. So getting lean people to walk through the operational flow and make sure you're not trying to fit a technology in to solve a problem unless you really got a problem. As I talked about the mock-ups, we use this as a way to get the community engaged. So we got our partners, McCarthy, they came out and they actually build a mock exam room. We took this mock exam room on the roadshow. And what we did is we actually had it at our big gala. So what does this mean? This means we're getting this donor community that's never been involved with us to come to a gala that we've never had before, and we're actually showing them how we're going to transform pediatric healthcare. It's not just about building a building, it's about transforming the way we deliver care. So as we talk about transforming the way we deliver care, we've got to get the community to understand that. So communities get excited about things. And we went out there, in our first probably 5 to 10 interviews with people, they said we were crazy. They said the project's too big, you're never going to make it work. But then all of a sudden we started getting people interested. And we went to the Railroad Museum. How many people knew that Chattanooga was the home of, you got a Railroad Museum. How many people knew that Chattanooga was the home of the tow truck? Nobody. I didn't know either. It's right off the highway. They have a tow truck museum, all right? So we said, how do we get people excited? So we went and we actually had a conversation with the train museum, and we found a train that was built in 1891 that we convinced them to loan us if we could raise the money. So what we have is a permanent loan now. So our signature item for our building is an 1891 steam engine that is sitting right out front of our building. How many people knew that Chattanooga was the home of the East Coast hang gliding capital of the world? Chattanooga's really good at branding stuff, by the way. I didn't know either. What's really funny is when Bruce went up to talk to these guys, they said, how many fatalities did you have? And the guy said, well, we've only had 5 since we opened. I'm like, who does this stuff? Jump off the side of a cliff. But part of our feedback process is we got our patients and our parents involved, and we're a trauma center. So our CEO was a trauma nurse. The COO for our health system was a trauma nurse too. So we love helicopters. We think they're really cool. So we were going to have helicopters in here. So what we did is we presented to all these parents, hey, this is great. Look what our lobby's going to look like. And one of the moms said, the worst day of my life was the day I got into a helicopter and came here. I never want to see another helicopter. So we said, all right, we got to fix this. So then we figured out we're the hang gliding capital. So now we have hang gliders. So for us, what's important was to get the feedback from the community and figure out how do we make this something really special for our community. Rock City. How many people have been to Rock City? Oh, come on. That's it? You guys know see Rock City? See the barns? There we go. We got a couple more. Rock City is an amazing place, and it's well known on the East Coast. You see these little red barns everywhere where you're driving around where it says, go see Rock City. I've actually been to Rock City. It's a great place. But we convinced them to actually fund something we call a secret garden. So on our outdoor patio, we're actually going to have what we call a secret garden, and we partnered with some local folks to build something very special. So what you'll do now is you'll walk out onto this garden. There's a secret way to get out there, and we worked with a company called Branch Technologies. They're a 3D printing company. They have a contract to try to build a building on the moon using 3D printer technology, but they're building these huge flowers for us so that when you walk out on there, it's not just a patio. Now it's a patio with flowers on there. You can see these are the stems. We work with some of the local guys in Chattanooga to figure out how do you build a stem that will hold it. Lots of good feedback from folks there. We work with the fire department. We said, how do we get the firemen to go raise money for us? How do we make this work? How do we create something that's exciting? As you see all these things, you see things that are really nice. What I see as a CEO of a pediatric health system is I need these kids distracted. I need them ready to be able to engage with the doctors and nurses and not be scared. And if you get dropped off at a medical office building, you're not in a good spot, especially because doctors, they poke you, they prod you, they do bad things. But if you get off at a train station or you get to play with a fire truck, you're much more willing to sit down and have a conversation with a nurse or a doctor. So the environment is what matters here, all right? It's not just that they're all fun, but as a byproduct, we had these firemen go out and raise all this money and do great things for us. What does that do? That gets the community excited and helps build momentum. So we actually have this fire cab that we lifted up about 2 months ago, and it's being placed inside the Children's Outpatient Center. Here's a tow truck. So we found this tow truck. We were accused of having too many male-oriented toys, so we built a female tow truck. We tried to have Mater, but Disney wouldn't let us, so we were going to say this is going to be Mater's girlfriend, his next one, after he breaks up with the other car. But this was a tow truck, and this is iconic to Chattanooga. So for us, what we can do is take these things and build educational themes around them. So the fire truck, it's going to be placed in one of the waiting areas, the discovery zones, and it's going to have signs and material that talk about fire safety, all right? The tow truck's going to talk about don't text and drive, where your car, or how to put in a car seat. So they're educational messages so that people aren't just sitting in a waiting room. There's another picture of Sally. So when you look at this building could only fit in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Lots of outdoor landscaping that's really designed to look like Tennessee. You can see the angle here. If you've ever been to Chattanooga, you've been to the aquarium probably. At one point in time, Chattanooga was the dirtiest city in the country, all right? Now it's the biggest outdoor attraction that could be. That aquarium helped turn the city around, all right? So we wanted to pay homage to the aquarium. If you've ever been there, you've seen these unique bridges that go over the Tennessee River. We tried to pull that architecturally in. The outside actually looks like the striations of the wall underneath the Hunter Museum. So we try to figure out how do we pull architectural features in there and make it work. And that's our train. So another big community engagement day. We got the tow truck guys to figure out how to take a 80-ton train and move it across town. So talk about a big media event. This was awesome, except it took way too long. Everybody's sitting there waiting for the train, and this thing's moving like, It took forever to get up there. But what a great thing to get kids involved. So now, every child that gets off will be dropped off in the valet parking at the train station, not at the doctor's office. So from an outpatient perspective, valet parking, very efficient, high throughput building, no offices at all. You want to talk about a cultural transformation? Try telling a bunch of doctors they're not going to have offices. The only thing is worse is telling them they don't have parking. All right? The reality is if you want to build a 100,000 square foot building and it's $400,000 a square foot, you can either have 40 exam rooms and offices, or you can have 72 exam rooms and no offices. And doctors like to take care of kids. They spend 90% of the day taking care of kids. They don't use offices. But it's a cultural transformation, and you have to have strong leadership to get over those transformations. Celebrate your successes. So for us, we took every opportunity to engage with HKS and McCarthy to really do something special. They came up with the most creative ideas on how to celebrate. This was just a blank wall they painted. And then they had the idea, let's put handprints on it. So in our building right now, we have a blank wall that's been sheetrocked over. But this day was so awesome because all these kids, all the nurses, all the doctors, they put their handprints, they signed their name. Really special time. We have beams that everybody has signed that were there for months before we did things. We got kids involved. It's a children's hospital. You have to have kids. We're having our celebration to open it pretty soon. We're having Boy Scouts. We're having Girl Scouts. We're having the kids from the daycare come over. The building is for kids. Get kids involved. Those are my kids up there. They're super cute. Oop. Right there. So any of you construction guys, you know you're not supposed to have kids on a construction site. I did this on the weekend. I stuck them in. So it's the only way you can make those things happen. But the construction team engaged with us. And they didn't just come to work and do these things. We had stretching exercises the first Tuesday of every month where the nurses came over and helped lead exercises with the construction team. They did fundraisers on their own. This was a shooting event they did on their own. And they wrote a check for $24,000. They are part of our team, and we're part of their team. They got involved with us like I never would have expected anybody to get involved with us. It really has been remarkable. This is Will. He helps lead McCarthy, and that's his family. He brought him on a day you're allowed to bring him. Getting the community involved means doing a lot of tours. We knew it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be disruptive, so we created a separate building. We found a building that really was terrible. It was a storage building, and we transformed it into the Project Depot. Now in this room, in this building, we've got a huge conference room, we've got lots of technology, and we show people not just how we're doing this building, but how we're transforming the whole 3rd Street design. This is just a really great quote. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is right outside our Project Depot. For us, it's more than a building. We're really trying to do something that's going to impact this city for years to come. And I can tell you, when you're on our work site, when you're working with our crane operators, they've got kids in our community. They understand this. So for us, it's something super special. We did lots of tours throughout this process. So once we broke ground, we told the doctors and nurses, we want you here. Come in now, come see it. And they said, well, it's not ready. We said, well, we want your input throughout the process. So every week we had tours with everybody that came through. They could not be more excited. That whole issue about the no offices, we're down to like 3 people who are not going to change. They're just not going to change. Everybody else is on board. They understand what we're doing because we got them engaged. So where are we now? We're going to really have it all done by the end of November, but then we're going to spend some time enjoying it and celebrating it. So we're going to have a separate event for our staff and our community pediatricians. We get all our referrals from the pediatricians. We want them to be part of this. We're going to have something special just for the construction team. We've had lunches and stretches and exercises for them, but this is a big accomplishment for them, and they live in our community. They deserve that. We're going to have board major donors. We have to say thank you to our donors. We raised $42 million in 3 years on a $40 million goal, starting from baseline of 0, and that is really unheard of. Why did it happen? Because we engaged with the community. We just didn't do this by ourselves. This is a very different community from where I came from before. I was in Atlanta, where you literally could go to talk to 5 people in that town and raise that kind of money. Chattanooga's not like that. We had over 6,000 people write checks. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, lemonade stands. We'll do the community open house and the formal ribbon cutting. All right, so you got to do the ribbon cutting that's formal. You got to have the mayors there. They want to say that they did it all, and we want them to think they did it all, and that's great. They've been good supporters. What's next? This is the entrance to our campus. And I can tell you, when I came to visit this place and went on my interview, I thought, what is this place? It looks like an asylum. I mean, it's terrible. This does not show well. This project has been able to teach people we're going to go from this to what you just saw. All right? Our next phase is that 12-story tower right there. The top 6 floors will be the new inpatient for children's. We have spoken at every Rotary, every Civitan club, every club you could ever imagine, and we've gotten everybody excited. We've recruited 45 new pediatric doctors since we started this project 3 years ago because they want to be something that's transformational. So for us, we use the building as the catalyst to get there, which is just really exciting. So what is this going to look like at the end? We're going to revolutionize 3rd Street, redo the entire thing. But more importantly, what are we doing for our community? We're transforming pediatric healthcare. We've got a very efficient building. It's going to cost less to run. We've got no offices and wasted space. We've got 4 telehealth suites that's going to reach out over our 50,000 square mile area and take care of kids. And this is something that will go on forever. The other thing we did is we didn't overbuild. Our strategy in life is to take resources out to the community, not have people come to us in the big center. So we only built 72 rooms. Right now, we have 70 rooms. But we picked up 30% capacity by adding shared space. So our real goal is to do more outreach clinics, but this is going to be our hub and spoke for all of our outpatient activities. So I'm super excited about it. I'm glad you guys let me come here and talk. As he said when he introduced me, I wasn't supposed to be here. You guys got downgraded. Bruce couldn't come. I hope I've done a good job. What questions can I answer? Where's Chattanooga? Chattanooga sits in the middle of Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, and Birmingham. We're 2 hours from everybody. So if you do the math, we're not big enough to have a children's hospital as big as we are, but it's because we have to serve this huge region around us. So we actually have 6 helicopters we've got stationed all around us to bring everybody in when they need help. But great question. I'll be back there tomorrow. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. So it is all outpatient, and we actually have some shell space. So in the shell space, since we've exceeded our goal by $2 million, I've got a couple more things to hopefully get us a little bit more. We're going to put in an MRI and 3 surgical suites to try to offload some of the stuff from the main campus. But it's all outpatient subspecialties with the exception of oncology, because you always keep inpatient and outpatient oncology together. So it's all of the all of the orthopedics, neurology. We built a sleep study center in there so we can fully use the building at night. So it's got all the pediatric stuff. You know, that's a very good question, and you know, everything moves at the speed of money, and that I don't mean to. Well, Chattanooga is an interesting place. It was where Coca-Cola bottling started, but it's also where all these new tech companies are coming from. We're the gig city, so we've got a lot of new money in there and a lot of folks there. We're just starting, from my perspective. This has all been about kids. Next is oncology and adults and strokes and everything else. It moves at the speed of money. If we keep doing well operationally, we can build quicker. My hope is that after we finish this grand opening, we can start, finish the shell space, and then start, you know, kind of the pre-work for the bigger tower, and then it's probably a 5-year build after that. So, yes, yes.
Are you currently pursuing a strategy of urgent care access decentralized from the outpatient?
I think decentralizing is really important. So our number one thing is access, and access to me is defined by two things: time and how far you have to go. So the patients of today aren't traveling, and they want it now. So strategies are telemedicine, using teledoc and those type of things. We call it Erlanger on demand, to have patients come in even from their living room, but you have to have an outreach ambulatory strategy. And there's no way, and it's not just for the urgent cares, it's the pediatric subspecialists. You got to get them out into the community. Yeah, there's no way. This building has really allowed us to recruit these 45 new doctors, out which we didn't have the capacity to do the outreach. Now we have the capacity, so now we're getting out a lot more than we used to. You rotate them through, and then we supplement with telemedicine. So you can do high tech and high touch. You get out, you shake everybody's hand, you meet them, and then you use telemedicine for follow-up visits. So then you don't have to keep the person driving back every month. Just go twice a year out there and meet everybody. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, and again for stepping in for Bruce. Excellent presentation.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
Letting us know where Chattanooga is.
That's okay.